Let's keep training with the all-around style with Viktoria in the Tour 7 of Tennis Clash, a sports game made by Wi-Fi Studios. So for the first match, I looked directly at the opponent's very high agility of 77 and number of trophies. I started thinking he was too experienced to beat, and that I was going to suffer an inevitable defeat. That's why I didn't even want to waste a good string and simply took the nylon string. So the impression was confirmed with the first point. I started in the bad form, losing it, and thought that it was going to be a neat defeat. And surprisingly, well, I played well enough afterwards, a bit like this point. And my opponent wasn't very accurate neither. As you are going to see, he was a bit unlucky, I would say, on some shots, getting out very close to the sideline. Okay, here we go. Yeah, like this one. It's very close, right? Could have been in. And I insisted on hitting his backhand of 44 only, which was his weak side, clearly. And it apparently worked, at least for the first points, for the first 5 points that I won. And after that, I was lucky to be accurate most of the time during this match. And from 5-1, well, the champion instinct, the winner instinct is awoken. And he's starting to hit some very good winning forehands. Some very good returns. Let's see that. Very high agility. A high agility is always useful even if you have a weaker backhand and a just decent forehand. And you have them decent only because you have put everything on the agility, of course. And I think that he was testing the very high agility to see if it is effective. Well, as you can see, sometimes he's extremely accurate, and he doesn't surely have 2,480 trophies by luck. It's not just a random matter of facts. Well, just as sometimes. Okay, so I was very accurate here with my big forehand to conclude. I was quite happy, quite lucky to be accurate most of the time during this match. I think he may be a bit in shock here. Anyway, agility is 77. He was playing with the Maestro Monte Plus. This is a better string than the nylon string. It's not hard. So there may be a causal relationship here between me playing accurately with my forehand and my opponent playing inaccurately with his backhand. But well, anyway, I'm pretty happy to get through the challenge with a simple nylon string. So the second and third matches I play against an aggressive baseliner having quite high stats in agility, forehand and backhand. And Jim Bock, this opponent name, has a good number of trophies too. So I had to focus more than usually. I think that I tend to focus much more when I play against players having a higher number of trophies or very good stats, than the contrary. It's not a good habit, I know, and I must work on it to stay focused in all matches, whatever the number of trophies or the stats of the opponent. But it's not a problem of respect of the opponent, really. It's just an issue of motivation, very probably. I don't know if the high trophies players I beat in this video are having this motivation problem too, or when they see my lower number of trophies, I mean. Anyway, let's discover that. So sometimes I still have problems with my serve. I still have to work on it. Really, I have to train myself to be more precise, more accurate on that. Fortunately, my opponents sometimes serve very inaccurately too. And well, having a decent backhand is useful in this kind of situation. And well, yeah, sometimes, as you know, you are just blocked. You're just like having a block of concrete attached to your foot, and you can't move fast enough to go to the other side. This is useless anyway. Okay, so on the contrary, sometimes I just find a good angle to a good spot to serve well. Okay, it's done for this first match. And I'm going to meet this opponent again. 57 agility, 63 is the same side, same forehand, better backhand, a lower serve. So she was trying the a kind of a roll around style too, but with a much weaker serve. Well, not really much weaker, but um, I would say under average serve. So let's open the bags. Even crank bags doesn't isn't very profitable. Okay. So this was not exactly. It was not immediately after this match, of course. This is a match that had happened between. So I changed my. Well, she changed her string, and I keep playing with the Toro Twine. I like this Toro Twine a lot. This all-around style so far, I think that it suits me well because it actually looks the most to what real tennis should be. In real life, you should try to play tennis at a level which allows you to play well. You should try and build this kind of profile as well, I think. Decent in all shots and owning a big shot like a big forehand, a big backhand, or a big serve, but not having just a big serve and a big forehand, like the power serve and a big forehand combo, a bit like Karlovic. I mean, even if Karlovic doesn't have a very good forehand. Ivan Karlovic, one of the best servers of all time in the open era of tennis. Okay, alright, so my opponent was a bit inaccurate sometimes on the returns. I don't know, she was a bit fed up maybe. She wanted to hit very hard on my serve instead of trying to be accurate, to play a percentage tennis, to try to hold the serve absolutely at all cost. Yeah, okay, well, insisting on my backhand is always a good option if I only have 50. I'm going to upgrade my D-Forge card soon, so it's going to be a bit better. I think it will be at 52, but in the meanwhile, it's still too weak. 52 is a bit better. It gives you a little bit more of confidence. Alright, so let's attack the fourth match. The fourth match is, as you are going to see, okay, let's open this Tour 7 bag first. Classic bag. Mountain climber, well, it may be helpful later on, but right now, it's not useful at all. So, the fourth match is pretty long, it's very tight, as you are going to discover, versus a very accurate player who commits very few unforced errors. I was staying focused in the whole duration of the match, and fortunately, my forehand shots were doing good most of the time to allow me to stay in the match, to lead by the end, and win. Okay, so this is, yeah, her serve was not strong, but she compensates with a better agility than mine. I think that it's a bit weird, but I don't think that this opponent is playing with hop most of the time. I think that this is a test here, and that he plays with Kaito usually. Well, as you can see, I have found my angle at a good spot, and not here. Surprisingly, sometimes, yeah, I feel that I succeed in hitting a very good forehand, very accurate, and then when I expect the least, I just put it out. Another big forehand out of the blue, an unforced error that I can't even see coming. All right. So This all-around style of play, it allows us not to be too easily fooled by drop shots, as I said in previous videos, in the first part of when I was talking about all-rounder style, while it allows us to serve decently, especially if we can hit good spots, and to follow up with a big forehand if there is an opportunity. And the weaker backhand, weaker versus the forehand, is nevertheless enough to hit a decent return when the opponent hits on your backhand, because it will not be too weak and it will not put you in risk of committing an unforced error too easily. Okay, so I lead and she equalizes, and then she leads and then I equalize, and it's the Ferris wheel, it's the carousel. It's like that. It was like that for minutes. That was funny. It was funny to play. Well, that's cool because you know, when you play with a lower number of trophies, you have absolutely, well, much less I think than the opponent. No pressure, or very less than the other player who has a higher trophies and who wants to hold her rank. You know, she's better ranked, so it will be more normal if she wins this match. So yeah, so inaccurate. Sometimes I don't know. Fortunately, that was not on a decisive point. And my opponent is very accurate, as you can see, when it's about hitting a good forehand down the line, down the sideline. Well, on her backhand, sometimes against my big forehand, it's not easy. I can understand that. There's nothing to do here. Nothing. When I try and hit hard and I succeed in hitting this corner, this point of reference, a bit like here. There's nothing to do. Nothing. Just have to stand there and watch this kind of beautiful forehand. Yeah, my opponent was playing admirably in some points, really. Both of us, any of us couldn't have won this match, and I was lucky enough. So, because it's specifically a known around style, you have no real advantage actually over your opponent, except for the forehand, which can compete and should be your main weapon in this style. Your serve needs to be well placed to be effective, otherwise it will be neutralized quite easily by the opponent, especially if he or she has a very high agility and a good forehand or backhand. You will not be very quick to move on the court. I have only 45 of agility here, but not too slow anymore compared to the power serve, a big forehand combo where I have only 30. Your backhand is there just to counter a bit better than if it was having like 16 attribute points. So, and with that soft backhand, just decent serve and agility, you really need a string. You should not play with a nylon string. I did that for fun in a video previously, but I've seen that, especially since the Leprechaun update of March, the infamous update. Well, yeah. Especially from this update, the string is almost compulsory, actually, to perform well in the Tour 7. I don't even talk about the Tour 8. I haven't been there yet, but I guess that you can't play there without a string. Yeah, I was lucky to get an elite bag here, so let's open this grand bag to give priority to the elite bag. Okay, it opens those rewards bags too. So, as I said, I like to use the Toro Twine when the opponent has a good forehand and or a good backhand of 60 and above. And I take the simple but effective swallow poly if the forehand and backhand of the opponent is not very powerful, like is the case here. When this is between 50 and 59, well, I take the swallow bully, which gives me a long catch tier 1 and critical tier 1. Then that's enough in a lot of cases. Alright, so yeah, I started playing weird. But this is a match that I made, that I played before meeting the good players. Those good players that you have seen at the start of this video. So I would say that I am improving my gameplay with this style. I was not used to it at first. I was used to serve very slowly and then to try and place myself to anticipate a big return, and then to try to not to be outflanked by this big return, and then to try and place myself so that oh my gosh, yeah, I was losing this match. But the problem is that I have seen that my opponent was playing not to lose the match, and I, on the contrary, was playing to win it. That's the main difference. So that's why he was a bit too static. He was too inactive. He was playing just waiting for me to commit and then force error first and finish and win the point that way. And I'm not criticizing. Everybody can choose the way play, the way he or she wants to play. But personally, I don't play that way. I prefer to be aggressive, and try and win the point. But it's easier. I know it's easier to say and do when you have higher stats. Well, I would say that you fight with your weapons, of course. Obviously, if I had lower stats in forehand and backhand, like 53 and 50 in forehand and backhand, I would do the same. I may do the same, but I don't remember having done that, actually. I have played more than 5,500 matches, and I have never played like that. I have never waited for the opponent to commit an enforced error. It's not my style. It wasn't like that in real life. I didn't play like that when I used to play a lot of tennis, and not in the game neither. I don't like playing like that. So I would say that overall, this all-around style works above all versus players who don't have very high agility and or who haven't trained enough to return most of the time on your weakest hand, meaning my backhand, as far as I'm concerned, even if it's not really that weak. 50 is not that shameful. It's not a real big problem. It's not like having 16 of backhand, like when you're playing with a power serve, big forehand combo. Okay, so here, I don't know. I was not trying to do something. I was just trying to put it in, but okay. So in these matches, I haven't tried much to wrong foot my opponent anymore. I just try to hit hard on the other side to try to outflank my opponent rather than to wrong foot her, because I have seen that. Yeah, it was bad for him. I have seen that in a lot of matches, especially against players who have high number of trophies. It is very hard to wrong foot them, because they all have this experience. They are expecting you to play, and they have a high agility, higher than my agility. So it's a bit tricky, yeah, to wrong foot them. It's easier. It's easier when you play in the tour six, for instance, or when it's against a player having lower trophies who doesn't have a lot of experience, but above 1,700 or 1,900 trophies, I would say that it's very tricky. It's not easy to wrong foot your opponent. Okay, so 52 of agility. We both we were playing with the swallow bully. Okay, let's open this classic bag. Right. Alright, let's search for another opponent. 53, a bit higher agility. Better backhand, but a weaker forehand. But she was playing with the Siberian wire. The Siberian wire is working very well if you anticipate well enough to guess where your opponent is going to hit. Otherwise, his long catch is useless. Well, here there's nothing to say. When you're not accurate enough, well, this Siberian wire is not going to make some miracle. And in this match, this opponent is going to hit is making some shots very inaccurately, I think, if I remember. Hold on. Okay, and on the contrary, I was placing some good shots. See, I was trying to wrong foot her, but it doesn't work. She was just standing there, almost knowing that I was going to wrong foot her. Overall, she was guessing quite well where I was going to hit. Yeah. Again, I tried to wrong foot, but it doesn't work. Fortunately, I made some drop shot return there, seeing that she was staying all the time at the baseline. But I didn't want to take too much risk making drop shots all the time, because she had a better agility than mine anyway, so it's not like she is having 30, 35 agility, you know. So no risk there. And she neither, she wasn't making drop shots. Oh, right. So open this tour 7 classic bag. Well, I have put the matches that are not as interesting as the first match at the end of the video, of course. I have sorted, as for the previous video, I have sorted the matches from the most powerful opponent in terms of attributes, meaning in terms of total power, to the least powerful, or in an order of interesting, of interest. So the matches are not sorted in chronological order. So don't be surprised to see my number of trophies or my total of champs change weirdly from a match to another. I think that I'm going to keep trying this way of playing. This is not too bad. Standard agility, standard serve, good forehand, standard backhand. I've tried so far the aggressive baseliner style, the volley style, power serve, big forehand combo. And now I see that this kind of all-around style suits me pretty well. Yeah. Again, this kind of player, you can try to wrong foot her. It's not too hard, because obviously it's not the same experience level with this with those opponents than with the first opponents that I have played against at the beginning of the video. So it's easier to wrong foot them and to outflank them that way. Sometimes just don't have to try and run through them. Just have to hit hard. Okay, and that's it for this training session number 2 of the all around style. Well, I hope you enjoy watching me train with the all around style with Victoria in the Tour 7 of Tennis Clash, a sports game made by Wi-Fi Studios. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel Gameplay 365 to stay tuned for new videos of Tennis Clash.